He was 71, lived quietly in the countryside, and by all accounts was the picture of good health. Every morning, Mr. Hung rose with the sun, took pride in tending his garden, and stayed active with simple routines. No medications, no major health complaints. Just a peaceful life shaped by years of discipline and care. But one morning, everything changed. While pruning a small tree by his fence, he suddenly collapsed. No warning, no goodbye. By the time help arrived, it was too late. His family was stunned. How could a man so seemingly healthy fall without cause? This tragic moment forced a difficult question. Are there small, silent habits in our daily routines that could be putting us at risk, even when we feel fine? Especially in the morning, when the body is just waking from its most vulnerable state, certain behaviors might be far more dangerous than we realize. In today's video, we'll explore 3 essential morning habits that every senior should avoid. You'll learn why these seemingly innocent actions can silently undermine your health, and what simple changes can help you live not just longer, but stronger, safer, and with greater peace of mind. Let's begin this journey together, because your health is too precious to leave to chance. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. It's easy to believe that waking up early, throwing on your sneakers, and heading straight outside for a brisk walk or a bit of yard work is the sign of a healthy, disciplined life, especially if you've spent decades building that habit. But what if that very routine, the one you trust to keep you well, is quietly placing you in danger? The story of Mr. Hung reminds us that health isn't just about what we do, it's also about when and how we do it. He was 71, full of life, and enjoyed simple pleasures like tending to his garden before breakfast. That morning, just like any other, he went outside before eating a bite, eager to get an early start. But within minutes, he collapsed without warning. His heart simply gave out. And while we often think such tragedies are unpredictable, the truth is they sometimes come with warnings we overlook. One of those silent dangers? Exercising on an empty stomach. The hidden risk of skipping breakfast before exercise. As we grow older, our bodies change in quiet but significant ways. What we could once do in our 40s or even early 60s doesn't always translate well into our 70s. One of the most underestimated risks is exercising before eating anything in the morning. Many of us were taught that this builds discipline, burns fat, and sharpens the mind. But for seniors, the story is very different. Overnight, your body enters a fasting state. Your blood sugar drops, your metabolism slows down, and your energy reserves are at their lowest. Think of it like trying to drive your car on fumes. Sure, it might move at first, but it won't get far, and pushing it risks damaging the engine. Likewise, jumping into strenuous activity without first refueling your body places enormous stress on your heart, brain, and muscles. Why the morning body is vulnerable. After hours of sleep, your body isn't just resting. It's undergoing repair and recovery. Your blood pressure is lower, your body temperature drops, and your nervous system is in a calm state. But the moment you open your eyes, hormones begin to shift rapidly. Your body starts releasing adrenaline and cortisol, natural chemicals that prepare you to face the day. These hormones also spike blood pressure and heart rate. And if you add strenuous activity, say, raking leaves, lifting heavy pots, or speed walking before breakfast, you're pushing a system that hasn't fully stabilized. That's when the risk begins to climb. Even something as seemingly harmless as weeding a garden can trigger lightheadedness, dizziness, or, in the worst case, cardiac events. Because when the body lacks fuel, glucose, it struggles to keep up with demand. And for older adults, whose arteries may already be narrowed or who have minor underlying conditions, the risk of heart attack or stroke rises sharply. How adrenaline and an empty stomach can trigger heart attacks. Let's pause here and dig deeper. During early morning hours, especially between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., the body naturally produces more adrenaline. In a young, healthy person, this isn't usually a problem. But in seniors, this hormone surge can do more harm than good. Adrenaline causes your blood vessels to constrict and your heart to beat faster. When paired with dehydration, low blood sugar, and physical exertion, it creates the perfect storm. Small plaques in the arteries can rupture under pressure, leading to a clot. And that, unfortunately, is often how sudden heart attacks occur in the early hours of the day. This isn't meant to frighten. It's meant to awaken. Understanding these hidden mechanisms is the first step toward making safer, smarter decisions in the morning. What to eat for safe morning energy? The good news is, it doesn't take much to make a big difference. You don't need a full farmhouse breakfast before moving your body. A light, balanced meal is often enough to stabilize blood sugar and give your heart the energy it needs to perform safely. Try something like a small bowl of oatmeal with a few slices of banana, a slice of whole grain toast with avocado or almond butter, boiled eggs with a sprinkle of salt and pepper, a handful of nuts and some low-fat Greek yogurt. These kinds of foods provide slow-releasing energy, helping your body ease into activity instead of being thrown into it. They also support brain function, balance mood, and reduce the likelihood of that mid-morning crash. Hydration first. A morning essential. Equally important is hydration. After 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is naturally dehydrated. This affects everything from blood thickness to digestion to how your heart pumps blood. Start your day with a glass of water or warm herbal tea. Not only does this help wake up your internal organs, but it also cushions your joints and improves circulation. Avoid coffee as your very first drink, especially if you haven't eaten. Caffeine can intensify dehydration and raise blood pressure when your system is still adjusting. Gentle activities to replace intense workouts. No one's saying you should stop moving. Regular physical activity is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. But timing and intensity matter. In place of vigorous gardening or a long walk on an empty stomach, consider starting your mornings with light stretching in bed or on a chair, a 10-minute Tai Chi routine in the backyard, a leisurely walk around the house or hallway, breathing exercises or simple yoga poses. These gentle movements signal to your body that it's time to wake up without overloading your heart and muscles. Later in the morning, after breakfast and proper hydration, you'll be better prepared for more demanding tasks. A morning message of self-respect. Taking a few extra minutes each morning to eat a little, drink water, and move gently isn't just about avoiding a crisis. It's a daily act of self-respect and wisdom. It says, "I've lived long, and I've learned to listen to my body." Many seniors were raised in a culture that values toughness, pushing through discomfort, and doing things the way we always have. But true strength at this stage of life comes from awareness and adjustment. From learning that the little things, like a slice of toast or a glass of water, can protect you in big ways. Mr. Hung didn't know. He thought he was doing the right thing. And that's what makes his story so heartbreaking and so important. Because now you do know. And with that knowledge comes the power to change just one small part of your routine, and maybe save your own life. So tomorrow morning, before you lace up your shoes or head to the garden, pause. Pour a glass of water. Eat a little something. Stretch. Breathe. Move mindfully. Your body will thank you, and so will the people who love you. There's a quiet danger that hides in the very first moment of your day. Not in what you eat or what you do, but in how you get out of bed. For most of your life, the simple act of waking up and rising to your feet has felt natural, automatic. Your body just knew what to do. But as we age, that same automatic habit can turn into a risk, one we rarely recognize until it's too late. Why your circulatory system needs time to adjust. Each night while you sleep, your body enters a deeply restorative state. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and your circulatory system settles into a quiet rhythm. It's nature's way of giving your body time to heal and recharge. But when you open your eyes in the morning, your body doesn't instantly return to full function. Blood is still concentrated around your core, and your limbs aren't yet fully engaged. If you sit up or stand too quickly, the body doesn't have time to redistribute blood properly. That sudden motion can cause a sharp drop in blood pressure, and for seniors, this can be dangerous. You might feel dizzy, disoriented, or weak. Your vision might blur. In a matter of seconds, what began as a normal morning can end in a fall, an injury, or worse. What is orthostatic hypotension and how does it affect seniors? This sudden drop in blood pressure upon standing is called orthostatic hypotension. It's surprisingly common in people over 65, yet few even know the term. When you rise too quickly, your brain doesn't receive enough oxygenated blood for a few seconds, which is why you may feel lightheaded or lose your balance. For younger people, this sensation is usually brief and harmless. But for older adults, the consequences can be much more severe. Your reflexes aren't as quick. Your bones may be more fragile. And your sense of balance, especially after a night's rest, isn't always what it used to be. Orthostatic hypotension is not just an inconvenience. It's a red flag that your body is struggling to transition safely from rest to motion. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away. In fact, it increases your chances of a dangerous fall. The real cost of morning falls. Falls in older adults are not just accidents, they are life-changing events. A single fall can result in hip fractures, head injuries, or spinal damage. Recovery can take months, and often, independence is never fully regained. Even if the injuries are minor, the emotional impact is enormous. Many seniors who suffer a fall develop a fear of falling again, leading them to avoid physical activity altogether. This, in turn, can cause muscle weakness, isolation, depression, and a rapid decline in health and confidence. And there's more. The financial costs of a fall, hospital bills, physical therapy, assistive devices, can be staggering. But the emotional toll on your family? That's something no insurance policy can cover. All of this, from getting out of bed too fast. Step-by-step guide to getting out of bed safely. But here's the hopeful part. This kind of accident is almost entirely preventable. All it takes is a little patience and a few small adjustments. Here's how to rise in the morning the safe way, step by step. Pause before you move. When you first wake up, stay in bed for a minute. Let your body catch up with your mind. Breathe slowly and deeply. This tells your nervous system, we're not rushing today. Begin gentle movements. Start by wiggling your fingers and toes. Rotate your ankles. Bend your knees slightly. These small motions encourage blood flow and help activate your muscles. Roll onto your side. Instead of sitting up immediately, gently roll onto your side. This is easier on your spine and gives your body a chance to align naturally. Push up slowly. Use your arm to push yourself into a seated position. Let your feet dangle over the edge of the bed. Sit there for 30 to 60 seconds. This moment allows your blood pressure to stabilize. Stand mindfully. When you feel ready, plant both feet firmly on the ground. Hold on to the edge of the bed or a nearby piece of furniture if you need support. Then slowly stand up. Don't rush. Wait again. Once standing, pause for another few seconds. Take a deep breath. Feel your balance. Only begin walking once you're fully steady. These steps may sound simple, even unnecessary, but they can be the difference between a normal morning and a trip to the emergency room. Taking your time in the morning is not laziness. It's wisdom. It's self-respect. And it's one of the most powerful things you can do to protect your health your independence, and your dignity. In a world that constantly urges us to move faster, aging teaches us to slow down. Not because we're weak, but because we've earned the right to move with intention. You've carried the weight of years, of families, of responsibilities. You deserve mornings that begin with peace, not panic. So tomorrow, when the sunlight streams through your window and the day quietly calls your name, don't rush. Honor your body. Move gently. Stand strong. Because how you rise in the morning isn't just a physical act. It's a message to yourself and to those who love you. I'm here. I'm present. And I'm taking care of myself. In the quiet corners of morning, there are routines we follow without thought. Brushing our teeth, sipping warm coffee, glancing at the sunlight stretching across the room. And then, there's the bathroom. It's a space of privacy, habit, and relief. But for many seniors, it's also a place of hidden danger, especially when one common, overlooked act threatens both health and dignity. Straining during bowel movements. Why straining in the bathroom is dangerous for seniors. Straining feels harmless, even necessary. After all, we've been told to push when things don't move easily. But with age, that simple act becomes something much more serious. For people over 65, straining in the bathroom can cause sudden spikes in blood pressure, ruptured blood vessels, and dangerous cardiovascular events like strokes. When you bear down forcefully, especially in the morning when blood pressure is naturally higher, you create internal pressure that can overwhelm the heart and brain. For someone with a history of hypertension or vascular problems, this becomes a silent gamble. There's even a name for the phenomenon, the Valsalva maneuver. That's what happens when you hold your breath and push, triggering a reflex that can suddenly drop your heart rate, then cause a dangerous rebound spike. In rare but real cases, this chain reaction has led to fainting, strokes, or even cardiac arrest. And the risks don't end there. Straining regularly places intense pressure on the lower rectum, leading to hemorrhoids, anal fissures, and pelvic floor weakness, conditions that not only cause pain but also affect your mobility and independence. Many older adults begin to avoid going out, sitting comfortably, or even eating properly out of fear of bathroom discomfort. It all starts with a few minutes on the toilet, but it can change the course of your health entirely. Correct posture for easy bowel movement. Thankfully, there's a solution that starts with something as simple as how you sit. In modern Western bathrooms, the toilet design encourages a sitting position that's not ideal for full bowel emptying. That 90-degree angle between the torso and legs creates a kink in the rectum, making elimination harder and leading people to strain. But by elevating your feet with a small stool or box, even a stack of books will do, you can mimic a natural squatting position. This relaxes the puborectalis muscle and straightens the rectal canal, allowing waste to pass through more smoothly and completely. This isn't a gimmick. Studies have shown that using this position reduces the need to strain, shortens bathroom time, and makes the process feel more natural and comfortable. It's a simple adjustment, but one that can save you from years of pain, frustration, or worse. So next time you enter the bathroom, bring a small footstool with you. Your body will thank you. Dietary habits that prevent constipation. Of course, posture alone can't solve everything. One of the main causes of straining is constipation, and constipation begins in the kitchen. As we age, our digestive systems slow down, and fiber intake often decreases. Many older adults eat less overall or skip meals, leading to reduced fiber and irregular bowel movements. Medications, reduced mobility, and dehydration only make things worse. That's why a fiber-rich diet is essential. Focus on leafy greens like spinach and kale, whole grains such as oats, brown rice, and whole wheat bread, legumes like lentils, black beans, and chickpeas, fruits, especially apples, pears, berries, and prunes, nuts and seeds, in moderation. Try to aim for 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day. That might sound like a lot, but small adjustments can make a big difference. A bowl of oatmeal in the morning, a handful of almonds as a snack, or a side of roasted vegetables with dinner all contribute to regular digestion. Also, remember that fiber works best when accompanied by one essential element: water. Hydration and movement for digestive health. Many seniors live in a constant state of mild dehydration, not from neglect, but from years of drinking less water due to bladder concerns or diminished thirst. But without enough fluids, your digestive tract slows, your stool hardens, and constipation becomes an ongoing struggle. Start your day with a glass of water before coffee or tea. Keep a refillable bottle nearby and sip throughout the day. Herbal teas, broths, and even water-rich fruits like watermelon or cucumber help you stay hydrated. Just as important as hydration is physical movement. Gentle activities like walking, stretching, tai chi, or gardening help stimulate bowel contractions and encourage regularity. Even light movement after meals, like a short stroll around the house, can nudge the digestive process forward. When your digestive system is supported, you don't need to force anything. Your body does the work naturally, without pain or pressure. Limit time on the toilet to avoid pressure. There's a modern trap many fall into: bringing a phone or book into the bathroom, sitting for 10 or 15 minutes without realizing the toll it's taking. But spending too long on the toilet, even if you're not straining, places prolonged pressure on the rectal veins. Over time, this leads to hemorrhoids, rectal prolapse, and pelvic floor damage. The key is to treat the bathroom as a functional stop, not a place to linger. Try this. If nothing happens within 3 to 5 minutes, stand up and walk around. Return when you feel the natural urge again. Don't force it. Avoid sitting for longer than 7 minutes total, even if things are progressing slowly. These small time limits can drastically reduce strain on your body while encouraging healthier habits. A new mindset for an old routine. Going to the bathroom should never be a source of dread. It should be comfortable, natural, and free from fear. And with a few adjustments, posture, diet, hydration, timing, it can be exactly that. But more importantly, this conversation isn't just about digestion. It's about preserving your independence, preventing falls, strokes, and hospital stays, protecting the dignity that every person, especially those who've spent a lifetime caring for others, deserves to keep. Taking care of your bowels is taking care of your heart, your brain, your bones, your peace of mind. So tomorrow morning, when you sit down in that quiet room, pause, breathe, elevate your feet, and let your body work the way it was meant to. Sometimes, the most profound acts of self-care happen in the most ordinary places. In the golden years of life, when the days feel slower but no less meaningful, there comes a moment when one begins to reflect, not just on what they've done, but on what they will leave behind. For some, this legacy takes the shape of family heirlooms, property, or financial savings. But for many wiser souls, the most powerful and lasting gift is far less visible: good health. Not just for themselves, but for the people they love. Health is a gift to your loved ones. It's a quiet truth that often goes unspoken. When you take care of your health, you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the ones who care about you the most. Your daughter, who brings over groceries once a week. Your grandson, who lights up when you show up at his soccer game. Your spouse who still reaches for your hand when the sun sets. Every choice you make, to eat better, to walk a little more, to rest when you need it, is a gift wrapped in time. A way to be present for birthdays, graduations, and all the quiet, sacred moments in between. There's nothing selfish about prioritizing your well-being. It's one of the most selfless things you can do. Because when your health is strong, you're not just living, you're participating. You're laughing louder, staying longer, and showing up when it matters most. How poor health burdens your family emotionally and financially. But the other side of that coin is harder to face. When health begins to fade, especially when it's due to preventable choices, it doesn't just affect the person going through it. It ripples outward, touching everyone in the family. A son now has to leave work early to drive to the doctor's appointments. A granddaughter cancels her college plans to become a caregiver. A spouse, once your partner in joy, now becomes your nurse, watching helplessly as your independence fades. There are tears no one talks about, shed alone in kitchens and parked cars. There's guilt, frustration, and exhaustion that settle in the bones. There are medical bills stacked in drawers, hard conversations around dining tables, and dreams put on hold because someone's health became a full-time responsibility. It's not the illness itself that hurts the most. It's the loss of moments, the shift in roles, the sudden weight that no one saw coming. Of course, no one chooses to be sick, and many conditions come through no fault of our own. But when it is within our power, when small daily habits can prevent long-term suffering, then caring for your body becomes an act of love for your family. It is not about vanity or chasing youth. It's about protecting the people who have always looked to you for strength, and allowing them to live their own lives without the heavy burden of worry. Daily wellness habits that echo through generations. The beauty of health is that it's built, not bought, and it begins in the ordinary. Waking up and drinking a glass of water before coffee. Choosing fruit instead of pastries. Taking a walk in the neighborhood instead of sitting through another hour of television. Doing light stretching in the morning instead of rushing out of bed. These are not grand gestures, but they are consistent ones. And consistency is what builds resilience. And here's the most beautiful part. Your loved ones are watching. They notice when you make oatmeal instead of skipping breakfast. They see you at the park bench reading instead of lying in bed all day. They hear your stories about cutting out sugar or reducing salt. And whether you know it or not, you're teaching them how to age, with grace, with intention, and with hope. Your grandchildren may not say it aloud, but they are learning from you. Learning that aging doesn't mean giving up. Learning that growing old doesn't mean growing weak. Learning that discipline, self-care, and dignity are choices that can be made at any age. What you model in your 60s, 70s, and 80s can echo in their lives decades from now. When they face their health challenges, they'll remember your example. When they're tired, overwhelmed, or tempted to let go of their routines, they'll recall your quiet discipline. And that ripple, that influence, is a far greater inheritance than any stock portfolio or family home. A legacy of strength. Legacy is often imagined as something we leave after we're gone. But real legacy is built while we're still here, in the way we live, the way we love, and the way we care for ourselves. It's in the meals you cook with your hands, the walks you take with your grandchildren, the doctor visits you keep, even when you don't feel like going, the medications you remember to take, because you know that your presence in the family is irreplaceable. And when that day comes, years from now, when your loved ones look back and speak of you, they won't just remember how many candles were on your last birthday cake. They'll remember how you lived, how you fought to stay strong, how you choose life every day in the smallest ways. That is the kind of legacy that lives forever. The most precious inheritance. In the end, good health is not just about how long you live. It's about how deeply you live, and how gently you allow others to carry their own lives, unburdened by the pain of watching you suffer. It is a profound act of love to take care of yourself in your later years. Because when you do, you're not just giving yourself a better life. You're giving your family peace. You're giving your grandchildren more summers. You're giving your children the freedom to build their lives without fear. In this way, health becomes a legacy, not a number on a scale, but a message that says, I cared enough to stay. I valued our time. I honored our bond. So today, eat the fruit. Take the walk. Stretch your body. Laugh a little louder. Do it not just for yourself, but for everyone who loves you. They deserve the best of you. And you deserve to be here for all of it. In a world where headlines shout about billion-dollar fortunes and trust funds passed down like family recipes, there's a quieter truth that rarely makes the news but carries far more weight. The greatest inheritance is not money, it's moral strength. For those of us who have lived long enough to watch a few generations grow up, we know this to be true. We've seen the damage caused by wealth unearned. We've seen children handed everything, only to lose it all, because no one ever taught them how to build it themselves. The most valuable thing we can give our children and grandchildren is not a bank account full of zeros. It is the ability to earn with integrity, to rise with effort, to build with honor. Honest work, sweat-earned, self-made, soul-fed, is the kind of legacy that no market crash can take away. Why honest work is the greatest inheritance. There's something sacred about money earned through effort. Ask any grandfather who worked on the assembly line for 30 years, or a grandmother who cleaned homes to put her kids through school. They'll tell you it wasn't the money that mattered most. It was the pride, the dignity, the knowledge that every dollar represented time, energy, and sacrifice. When we teach our children to value work over windfalls, we gift them something far more durable than gold: resilience. Because when times get hard, and they will, they'll know how to stand on their own 2 feet. They won't wait for a check to bail them out. They won't crumble under pressure. Instead, they'll remember what you taught them. That strength isn't handed down, it's earned through calloused hands, long days, and choices that feel small but matter deeply. Teach financial literacy, not dependency. You see, it's not just about telling your grandkids to work hard. It's also about showing them how money works. It's about sitting at the kitchen table, pulling out a notebook, and explaining what a budget is. It's showing them how compound interest works, not just for retirement, but for life itself. It's giving them a piggy bank when they're 5, and a savings account when they're 15. Teach them to track their spending, to respect the value of a dollar, and to invest, not just in stocks but in themselves. Because the truth is, dependency is not love. Handing down assets without wisdom is like giving someone a car with no driving lessons. It may take them somewhere for a while, but sooner or later, they'll crash. Real love equips. It prepares. It empowers. And financial literacy is one of the greatest gifts of empowerment you can offer. The hidden dangers of easy wealth. You've probably seen it. Maybe even in your own family. The child who never worked a day in their life now suddenly inherits a home, a business, or a bank account. They don't know how to manage it, how to protect it, or how to grow it. And in time, it all disappears. Along with it goes their confidence, their purpose, and sometimes, their character. Easy wealth often breeds entitlement, laziness, and recklessness. Not because the money itself is evil, but because it came without context. When there's no struggle, there's no strength. When there's no learning curve, there's no growth. And when everything comes easy, we forget how to value what matters. What begins as a blessing can quickly become a burden. And that's why the values we pass down must be stronger than the valuables. Small business, big life lessons. One of the best ways to teach responsibility and resilience? Encourage your kids or grandkids to start something of their own. It doesn't have to be big. A lemonade stand. A lawn care service. Selling handmade crafts at the farmer's market. These small ventures come with big lessons. How to talk to people. How to solve problems. How to deal with failure. How to manage money and time. They'll learn more from one failed sale than from 10 lectures. They'll learn that setbacks don't mean the end of the road. They mean it's time to try a different way. They'll learn that money earned through effort tastes sweeter than any handout. They'll feel the pride of knowing, I built this. I made this happen. And that's the kind of lesson that doesn't just build income, it builds character. The legacy of character. When your time on earth has passed, and your loved ones gather to tell stories about you, what do you want them to say? That you left them a check? Or that you left them a compass? A moral compass that points to honesty, discipline, generosity, and hard work. A compass that guides them not just through career choices, but through life choices. How to treat others, how to stand up after failure, how to lead with humility and serve with heart. When you teach them to earn honestly, you're giving them more than just a financial tool. You're giving them a sense of identity. They won't define themselves by what they have, but by who they are. And that legacy of self-worth, responsibility, and honor can't be taxed, stolen, or lost. A final thought. You don't have to be wealthy to leave a legacy. You don't need a big estate or a trust fund. All you need is a life of purpose, and the courage to pass that purpose on. So talk to your children. Share your struggles. Tell them what it felt like to save for your first home, to budget during lean years, to pick yourself up after disappointments. Let them see the truth, not just of what you earned, but how you earned it. And then, step back. Let them try. Let them fail. Let them learn. Because when they do, when they feel that pride of their first paycheck, or the lessons from their first mistake, they will carry forward the most precious thing you could ever give. Not money, not comfort, not easy, but strength, integrity, wisdom, and a name they'll be proud to live up to. That is the legacy that lasts. There comes a time in life, perhaps after retirement, perhaps after the passing of a spouse, or maybe just in the quiet of an early morning, when we begin to ask ourselves, what have I truly left behind? Not the bank accounts, not the house, not the things packed away in boxes in the attic, but the real legacy. The one that doesn't collect dust or get divided in a will. The one that lives in stories, in habits. How do your grandchildren treat others when they think no one is watching? That is your spiritual inheritance. And for those of us blessed to reach our later years, it may be the most important mission we have left. Living with integrity is your lasting legacy. You may not realize it, but every single day, someone is watching you. It may be your son, quietly reflecting on how you handled hard years. It may be your daughter, noticing how you greet strangers with kindness even when you're tired. It may be your grandchildren, soaking in how you speak about others, how you pray, how you face hardship. You are a mirror, reflecting not just the person you've become, but the path you've walked to get here. And integrity, that quiet, unshakable strength to do what's right even when no one's clapping, is perhaps the most profound gift you can pass down. Not perfection, not power, but the truth. When you live with integrity, you leave behind something that can't be stolen, sold, or burned, an example. And examples, as it turns out, are more powerful than lectures. They outlast money. They shape how future generations behave in boardrooms, in marriages, in churches, and crisis. Because when you've lived with integrity, even after you're gone, your voice echoes in the hearts of those you loved. How your values shape your family for generations. Think back to the values your parents lived by. Maybe your mother never spoke a harsh word about anyone. Maybe your father showed up to work every day, rain or shine, never late. Maybe your grandparents sat around the dinner table and said grace before every meal, no matter how simple. These memories live on because they weren't just habits, they were principles, passed down not in words, but in actions. And now, you stand in that same role. You are the elder now, the one they look to for wisdom, the one whose presence at a holiday dinner brings grounding, warmth, and meaning. So what values are you planting in the soil of your family tree? Are you teaching forgiveness, not just with words, but by showing how to let go of old wounds? Are you modeling patience, not just when things are easy, but when life throws curveballs? Are you showing generosity, not in grand gestures, but in the daily choice to give more than you take? Because long after you're gone, it won't be your recipes they remember most. It will be your way of being. Your calm in a storm. Your grace in loss. Your humility in success. The way you treated the waitress, the mailman, and your neighbor in need. Your values ripple through your children's choices, your grandchildren's marriages, even your great-grandchildren's faith. That is how a life well lived becomes a lighthouse across generations. Passing down purpose, not just possessions. It's easy to believe that once we've finished raising kids, or once we've retired, or once our bodies slow down, our purpose ends. But nothing could be further from the truth. Your purpose now may be greater than it's ever been, because now you carry something no one else in your family can: perspective. You've seen seasons rise and fall. You've walked through joy and heartbreak. You've seen what matters and what doesn't. Now is the time to pass that wisdom on, not in lectures or lessons, but in gentle stories, in listening, in simply being present. Your grandchildren don't need you to solve all their problems. They need to know you believe in them. They need to hear you say, "I've been through hard things too, and you'll get through this." They need your voice in a world full of noise. They need your rootedness in a culture addicted to speed. And most of all, they need to know there is a purpose in every stage of life, even the slower ones. Life doesn't stop having meaning when you stop working. That joy and service and discovery are still possible, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. That message, spoken not just in words, but in how you wake up each day with intention, is one of the greatest inheritances you can give. The power of spiritual legacy. Some people build empires. Others build character. And character lasts longer. You may not leave behind a fortune, but you can leave behind a faith that holds firm, a kindness that changes rooms, a name that means something. That is the power of spiritual legacy. It doesn't require wealth or titles. It just requires living each day as though it matters, because it does. It requires being the kind of person your family feels safe around, trusts, and wants to be like. It means showing up with love when it's inconvenient, and grace when it's undeserved. And it means knowing that your story, your whole, messy, beautiful, hard-fought story, is not over. It's still being written in the lives of those who come after you. In closing, you may look in the mirror and see wrinkles, silver hair, and slower steps. But don't be fooled. You are more powerful now than you've ever been, because now you carry wisdom. You carry memory. You carry a legacy. And the world, your family, your community, your grandchildren, they need that more than ever. So wake up tomorrow with a purpose. Not just to tend the garden or read the paper, but to be the example someone else is quietly counting on. Your mission is not over. In many ways, it's just beginning. Because while possessions may pass, and even names may fade, a spirit grounded in truth, love, and purpose never disappears. It lives on. In every kind word. Every value upheld. Every life you quietly shaped, just by being you. And that, dear friend, is the kind of legacy that changes the world. As the morning sun rises on another day, the question we must all quietly ask ourselves is simple, but powerful. What will you change starting tomorrow? Will you rise a little more gently? Will you reach for water before coffee, stretch before you strain, speak gratitude before you speak worry? Will you begin to treat your health not as something separate from your family, but as one of the greatest gifts you can give them? These aren't just morning routines. They are acts of love, done in silence, witnessed by no one, but felt by everyone you hold dear. Because the truth is, how we treat our bodies, our hearts, and our morning speaks volumes about how we value the life we've been given, and how we intend to honor it moving forward. So pause for a moment. Reflect. And if you feel moved, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is one small thing you'll commit to doing differently tomorrow? Your story could inspire someone else. Your words might be the gentle nudge another soul needs. And if this video spoke to you, if it reminded you of your power, your worth, and your legacy, please subscribe to this channel. Here, we celebrate aging with purpose, with wisdom, and with pride. Share this message with someone you love. A sibling, a friend, a neighbor. Let's grow stronger together, one morning at a time. Because you, my friend, are not done growing. Not even close.